just in case. The meeting, as with the other sessions, will be recorded. You will appear on the screen if you have your video on. If you don't wish to appear on the screen, please turn your video off. This is now a short flash talk session to introduce the poster presenters for the following poster session. I will put a link now into the chat, a link to the online poster session. And just to set up the session, let me follow that link and share my screen to show you what that session looks like. So I share my screen with you here, and you'll see a website for the poster session for this afternoon. And on this website, you will see a whole series of posters which have been put up by the presenters with an abstract, the name of the presenter, the group that they're working with, and a link here in purple that says chat with presenter. Please don't click on those links now, but those links will be important for the session with the poster session. Okay? So following this flash talk session, you'll have a chance to go and explore the posters on that website. And if you follow the link to chat with the presenter, you will be taken into a Zoom chat with that presenter and have a chance to ask them questions and talk with them about their work. And you are free then to move between the different Zoom chats and have a look at multiple posters and ask some questions of multiple people. The poster session will run for as long as the chats are active and as long as is needed, but for at least the 40 minutes to the end of the hour. Okay, so each of the poster presenters will join their chat at the end of this Flash Talks session. We have at the top of the screen, at the top of the array, if you have a look at the array of all of the speakers here, the poster presenters for today. And over the next 20 minutes, I'm going to ask them each individually to very briefly introduce themselves and tell us why we should come and have a look at their poster. So this will be just a very brief flash talk session like you often see in some presential conferences, basically to convince you to come and have a look at their work and discuss with them and ask them questions. The first of the presenters will be Irene. Irene's here. Irene, if I could ask you to unmute your microphone, I shall share my screen again. I'll come backwards and forwards sharing the screen so we can all see the presenter and the poster. This is your poster here, Irene. And if you could just take 2 minutes to introduce yourself briefly and tell us why we should come and have a look at your poster.
Yes, okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hello to everybody. My name is Irene Gotti, and I'm a PhD student at the INRIM Institute. I am working in the research group that realized an Ethereum optical clock. And in our experiment, we use neutral atoms trapped into a 1D optical lattice that operate at the magic wavelength. So with our clock, it is possible to measure the absolute frequency of the Ethereum clock transition. And so far, the contribution to the accuracy budget given by our Ethereum lattice clock is about 3 × 10⁻17. The aim now is to improve the clock performances, and in order to do that, we have modified our optical setup to create a vertical lattice. This vertical lattice will allow us to reduce the lattice power without losing the control on the atomic motion. So I don't know, maybe my time is already finished. So if you have any questions or curiosities, please come to see my poster, and see you later. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Irene. Much appreciated. Our second speaker is Samuel. Samuel's also here with us. And Samuel, if you could introduce yourself in your poster in 2 minutes.
All right, hi everyone. I assume tell me if you can't hear me. So yeah, my name is Sam. This is work I've done with Augusto Smerzi and Luca Petze here in beautiful Florence. So our project is about parameter estimation, which I'm sure we're all very familiar with, but aided with machine learning techniques. So our idea was, it's quite well known that you can use something like an artificial neural network to classify handwritten digits, and that's the point of this figure that you can see here on the left. And so in the same way, we were interested to know if we could use an artificial neural network to kind of classify phases in a sense, in other words, to perform phase estimation. So the utility of this method, I suppose, is that normally when we do parameter estimation, you just analyze moments of a probability distribution, and the uncertainty is just from error propagation, Bayesian inference, or also for that matter, frequentist inference, like a maximum likelihood. These techniques have a lot of advantages, but they require a really high quality model of the probability distribution that you're using to do inference with. So basically the hope is that we can use artificial neural networks to learn that probability distribution from training data more efficiently than, say, naive calibration techniques. So if that's interesting to you, come talk to me. I might just mention, I couldn't figure out how to set up a Zoom meeting with no password. So the password is 123, which is written next to the link. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks a lot, Sam. Our next speaker is Julian.
Hello.
I'll keep the poster up here, loading up.
Hello,
Julian.
Can you hear me? Can
Yes.
you hear me? Hello? Yes, good. My name is Julian Robinson Tate, and I'm working at the Niels Bohr Institute along with Solfus and Stefan, who's now moved to Amsterdam. And we're working generally on the super radiant idea, but here we're addressing a slightly different problem in the sense that, which has been mentioned a few times, which is specifically the dead times in atomic clocks. And we're addressing this by a concept of continuous interrogation of a cold strontium beam. And essentially the way we want to realize this is by cooling a continuous beam of strontium with a Siemens slower, and then focusing down the beam in a 2D MOT and trying to deflect it into a high-finesse cavity, optical cavity, which is resonant with the red cooling transition, although we're using this transition to interrogate the atoms as opposed to cooling them. And what we hope to do is Doppler-free spectroscopy and look at some isotomes, which is a method of interrogation which is to first order immune to cavity fluctuations. And then we would like to evaluate this against a discrete atomic clock and compare how it behaves, systematics, and therein. And if all goes well, we also wish to use this as a test bed for some cavity QED, but in a continuous regime. So if that interests you, come and find my Zoom link.
Thank you very much, Julian. And for those who are maybe joined after I gave the explanation, for each of the posters that you see on this website, there's a link here to chat with the presenter of that poster, which will take you to a Zoom chat where you can talk with that person. And I have sent the link to this website in the chat of the current Zoom conversation. Our next speaker is Jacob, but I understand that Jacob hasn't yet joined us here. Jacob, if I'm mistaken, can you speak up now?
I am, yes.
Ah, you're here. Fantastic. Okay.
Oh, sorry, I have wrong name.
No problem at all. You're
PC.
PC. I don't know whether that's a computer reference or that you're just going to be politically correct today, but either is fine. The floor is yours. Please tell us why we should come and have a look at your poster.
Okay, thank you. I would like to show you my job in our laboratory in Toruń in Poland. It's about quantum simulations of transport of cold atoms, because in laboratory we have in participation about we have optical atomic clocks, which should be treated is using to in searching for dark matter like topological effects, and of course we are not sure whether if it will be possible to handle such matter, but if dark matter exists, we hope we could be able to find it using our very stable optical atomic clocks. And in my job, I'm trying to show effects of interacting atoms with laser beams using which is showing effects of interaction moving optical lattice on some system of cold atoms to transport our atoms between some elements of experiments, and the main important thing in my job is presenting moving optical lattice and our moving atoms to some special part of system. Okay.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Jacob. Following Jacob, we have Matteo.
Yes. Good afternoon. I'm Matteo Barbiero, a postdoc researcher at INRIM, National Italian Metrology Institute. And in my poster, I will present the status of a strontium atomic clock that we are building. So in this experiment and this clock, we design different lattice topologies that aim to operate the ultra-cold sample in the high cooperative regime toward the subquantum projection noise instability by means of the cavity QED setup. In this apparatus, we also have some knowledge about the atomic source, which is equipped with a 2D MOT system, which has the possibility to enhance the metrological performances of our system, for example, by reducing of the black body radiation shift C by the final atom in the final trapping region. So if you want to have more information about this project, so please come to visit my poster.
Thank you very much, Matteo. Our next poster is presented by Francesca and Sheng Zhou. Sheng Zhou is here with us to say a few words about the poster.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shen from University of Amsterdam. I'm working on IQ Clock project. The aim of IQ Clock project is to build a frequency reference based on super radiant laser. Unlike the current optic laser, the super radiant laser is insensitive to the length of the ultra stable cavity, and post-state super radiant laser system has already been demonstrated. So right now, the next challenge is to build a steady-state super radiant laser system. And we are building two different continuous super radiant laser machines to achieve this challenge. So the first one is a cold atom beam. It will be trapped in a moving magic lattice within a cavity. And we will use this system to explore the clock transition of strontium-87 to aiming for state-of-art short-term frequency stability. And we are also working on another system based on a hot beam. This one will be more simple, transitable, and compact system. And here are some pictures in our lab. Thank you for attention. If you have questions, please join our Zoom. Thank you.
Thanks, Sheng. Following Sheng, we have a poster here, which will be presented by Goffrein. You're very quiet, Goffin. Is there any way to speak louder or closer?
Could you hear me?
No, it's still very silent.
No, with it plugged in, I don't hear your microphone at all.
Could you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. So hi, everyone. My name is Gofran, and I am a PhD student. I'm working with Roberto Franzosi on the understanding of quantum entanglement using the differential geometry. So we know that the entanglement is an essential ingredient for progressing in the field of quantum information, but yet it remains elusive, and the problem of its characterization and quantification is still open. So many works have been devoted to its quantification, and among them, the entanglement measured based on the geometry of Hilbert space, which has been studied in the case of M-qubit pure state. So in this present work, I present an entanglement measure based on the geometry of Hilbert spaces that can be computed either for pure state or mixed state of M-qubit hybrid systems. So the proposed entanglement measure has an explicit computable expression and has been applied to classify several entangled states relevant in the literature. So if you need more information, please contact me.
Thank you, Gofren. Following Gofren, we have a poster presented by Victor.
Hello, my name is Victor Martinez. Do you listen to me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm a PhD student in Clemens Hammer Group in the Institute of Theoretical Physics in Hanover. And I would like to talk about part of our work. I will say that our main selling point is that we are able to deliver a systematic, fully quantum mechanical treatment of relativistic frequency shifts in atomic clocks based on trapped ions, recovering previous semi-classical results, as for example, the second order Doppler effect. And with that, we were able to clarify recent discussions on the role of time dilation and mass defect in ion clocks. We did that thanks to the work of Sonleiner and Barnett and Sparks and Giulini by expanding their work in order to take also into account charged ions and not only non-charged system particles. We did that by deriving an approximate relativistic Hamiltonian for the center of mass and internal dynamics of an electromagnetically bound charged two-particle system in external electromagnetic and gravitational fields, taking into account all possible corrections up to order 1/c², and not only putting them some by hand or just using some other knowledge. We used this in order to treat Paul traps, including possible imperfections into the traps, such as, for example, micromotion. And we had some nice results and some effects being able to explain all the previous already calculated ones. If you are interested in the poster, I'm hoping to see you around. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Victor. We have a couple more posters, so bear with us for a few more minutes, and then you'll have a chance to chat to each of the individual poster presenters and read their posters in detail. The next poster is by Alvise.
Hi everyone, I'm Alvise. I'm a student at Imperial College London. I'm doing my PhD at the National Physical Laboratory in the group of Ian Hill with Richard Hobson, William Bowden, and Marco Schioppo. So my poster is called Quantum Non-Demolition Detection in an Optical Lattice Clock. And I'm presenting the realization of quantum non-demolition detection in a strontium optical lattice clock. This scheme allows to repeatedly interrogate the same atomic sample. It can also help to preserve coherence of the atoms. And then in some sense, if the back-action effects that are induced on the atoms per measurement are weak enough, this scheme could lead to spin squeezing and entanglement. In the poster, I'm also showing how we used this quantum non-demolition measurement scheme in two practical applications. The first one is what we call an atom phase lock, which will allow us to extend the phase coherence of ultrastable lasers. And then the second application is instead in what we call a hybrid optical lattice clock configuration, in which we combine two optical lattice clocks, one of which implements quantum non-demolition detection, and then we combine them together to obtain a clock with improved stability. More generally, this quantum non-demolition measurement scheme seems promising to generate spin squeezing and entanglement in optical lattice clock. And I hope that you will find the poster interesting, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you very much, Elvise.
Thank you.
Following down, we have now a poster which will be by Shengshao Zhu, but this will be presented by Frédéric Leroux from the group of Matt Jones, who gave the talk earlier today. Frédéric?
Yes. Hello. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, my name is Frédéric Leroux. I am a postdoctoral research fellow in the group of Matt Jones in the Joint Quantum Center, Durham, Newcastle. This is Northeast England. So we're an atomic group working in strontium. We're working with quantum metrology. We wish to implement Rydberg tracing to create a spin quiz atom in an optical atomic clock. So to do so, we will use 88 strontium with the excited state of the clock transition, ultra narrow clock transition 1 Hz. We will slightly Rydberg trace those states, such as to use the C6 coefficients of the van der Waals interaction. By doing so inside the Rydberg blockade radius, we will be able to get spin squeeze atoms. So by doing so, we will be able to beat the quantum projection noise of individual atoms. We will, on the n-block sphere, with a series of quantum manipulation, we will be able to reduce the uncertainty along one direction as the exponent of others by averaging out on n ensembles. And we hope to beat the quantum metrology record. Our atoms will be loaded in an 813 nanometer optical array, which has been already implemented with a specialized modulator based on Fourier optics. We'll do it in 2D or 3D, even in 3D optical array. And so far also, what we have produced a paper where we have loaded our atoms in a 532 nanometer tweezers. We have implemented different methods based on CC4C cooling and 461 nanometer imaging to number resolve 88 strontium atom inside tweezers. We are able to reach a fidelity of even 99.9% to resolve 0 and 1 atom with an alternate sequence of CC4C and probing, and 99% to resolve 0, 1, or 2 atoms. And so we have a comb also for to lock our clock laser. And also we are looking for a PhD student. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Frédéric.
Yes.
Our next presenter is Martin.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Martin Steinel. I'm from Brunswick, Germany, and a PhD student in the ion atomic clock group there. And this is also what the poster is about. 171 ytterbium atomic clock, but also uses another well-known clock ion, 88 strontium, in a composite setup. The idea is that we use the strontium for several tasks, such as sympathetic cooling, measurement of black body radiation, and the light shift during the clock operation itself. And so the poster goes into why strontium is such a good ion to use for that purpose. And also we have some initial measurements about the background pressure at the trap location, which we did by measuring the reordering rate of an ytterbium ion crystal over a long period of time, which can give a relatively good estimate at the actual position. And we also have a first result from the quadrupole transition in Iterbium 171, which is of course the first step to optimize the clock transitions and find the octopole transition in the end that we want to use.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Martin. And our last poster is by Sophus. Thank you for being patient, Sophus.
No worries. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Hello. My name is Sophus, and I am a PhD student in Jan Thomsen's group for quantum metrology at the Niels Bohr Institute in Copenhagen. So on our experiment, we work on pulse superradiance of strontium-88 on the 7.5 kilohertz clock transition. And we do that to demonstrate the potential for superradiant lasers to actually enhance optical clocks. And if you just saw Stefan's talk, then you already have a great background to discuss stuff on this poster with me. So basically what this poster describes is our attempts to, or efforts to upgrade the experiment to take it sort of into a second stage. Because experiment that we have right now is basically, it's only cooled to 5 millikelvin by 461 nanometer mod. And we want to take it further down in temperature to 5 to 50 microkelvin. And we do that by using a 689 nanometer mod as well, a red mod. And that should be make us able to go even further within the bad cavity regime, where the frequency of the lasing atoms are dictated more by the atom themselves rather than the cavity. And also we're implementing a scheme for continuous repumping, because the current scheme we have right now, we only have one laser pulse, which means that each atom only takes part in the lasing process once. But if you continuously repump them, you'd be able to get more lasing cycles out of each atom. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, Sophus. With that, I will stop sharing my screen. If I can remind everybody that the link to the poster session is on the Zoom chat. I've just posted it again now. And I'll now encourage everyone to go to that website and to have a look at the posters and then chat with the poster presenters. I encourage you to scatter a little bit, try and chat to a few different people and spread around a little bit on the posters. The presenters should open up as quickly as they can their own Zoom chat so that you are there and waiting. And the chats should go on till the end of the hour, and then if the chat wants to continue, then there's no problem with that at all. Thank you very much to each of the poster presenters for telling us why we should come out and have a look at your posters. I look forward to seeing everybody in the individual Zoom chats through the link that's in the current chat here now. Thank you very much. We'll see you there. And as a reminder, tomorrow's talks are on iron clocks starting at 2 o'clock. You should have the links in your emails to come and learn about how to operate state-of-the-art quantum iron clocks tomorrow afternoon. See you all in the chats.
Okay.